Let's get started.
The case for design biology, where the genetic code came from. Part 1. The genetic code is at the heart of life. DNA keeps instructions in a 4-letter alphabet. Those letters make words and phrases that inform cells how to make proteins. The system looks like a language that is written down. There is a detailed table of meaning that shows how codons turn into amino acids. To translate, you need ribosomes, transfer RNA, enzymes, and energy. The procedure is like a computer compiler that turns code into action. Information theory teaches a simple rule. Only minds can make codes. Random processes can mix up letters, but they can't give them meaning. A book needs someone to write it. A programmer is needed to make a software program. The genetic code is the most advanced program that humans have ever created. It has commands for error correction, redundancy, and regulation. Saying that this code came about by mistake goes against all we know about how information comes around. There is no natural process that can explain how chemical interactions could create a symbolic language. Physical rules govern molecules. They do not make grammar or meaning. Atheistic science still doesn't know where the genetic code came from. For biology design, the answer is clear. Someone thought up the code. Irreducible complexity in biological systems. Some biological devices can't work unless all of their parts are present at the same moment. This idea of irreducible complexity may be found in many places in nature. A good example is the bacterial flagellum. This tiny motor helps bacteria swim. It has a rotor, stator, drive shaft, universal joint, and propeller. About 40 distinct proteins need to come together in a certain order.
Wow.
The mechanism stops working if you take one piece out. There is no way to develop such a machine step by step via gradual evolution. Having half a motor doesn't help. The only logical answer is that it was planned. The blood clotting cascade is another example. A regulated sequence of dozens of proteins stops the bleeding. Too much clotting can cause strokes, which can kill you. Not enough clotting can kill you by causing bleeding. The system needs inhibitors, activators, and feedback loops to all work together. If the cascade isn't complete, life will terminate before reproduction. The design must be full from the start. There is a trend in these examples. Many biological systems are like complicated things that people made. They need elements that work together and timing that is right. Accidents cannot put together machines that depend on each other. Timing of development of embryos. Before birth is when one of the most amazing things happens. One fertilized egg grows into a whole person. The method follows a strict timetable. Cells split up, become different types, and go to certain places. Limbs grow in a balanced way. The appropriate order is followed when organs form. Muscles and nerves work together. The brain puts together trillions of connections. Genetic instructions that turn on and off at the appropriate times are what make development happen. Serious problems ensue if the time is inaccurate by even a few minutes. The orchestration sounds like a symphony with a conductor who can't be seen. How might random changes in DNA cause such exact movements? Chance can't make plans for what's to come. Only intelligence can see how things will end up and steer each step toward that goal. Embryology shows that programming has a purpose. The plan for the adult starts with the first cell. Biology of design calls this planned construction. Unguided evolution just gives us ambiguous stories. Fine-tuning the universe. Physics is the basis for biology. The world itself seems to be perfectly set up for life. The strength of gravity, the charge of the electron, and the speed of light are all examples of physical constants that fall within very small ranges. If you change these numbers a little bit, the stars won't burn right. Atoms would not stay together. Chemistry would fall apart. Cosmology indicates that there are a lot of these very carefully controlled characteristics. The rate at which the cosmos is expanding, the ratio of matter to energy, and the properties of carbon all fit together like pieces of a puzzle. Scientists all agree that this delicate equilibrium is crucial for life. They bring up multiverse theories to avoid the idea of design. But those ideas are still just guesses and can't be tested. Fine-tuning points to a fine-tuner by nature. A residence that is ready for guests shows that the host is there. A universe ready for life points to a creator. Thanks. Please follow, share, and leave a like.
All right. For those that are still watching, appreciate it. Thank you. I'm going to go to number two now. Should be number two.
The Case for Design Biology, Where the Genetic Code Came From. Part 2. Limits of Natural Selection and Mutation. There are two engines that evolutionary theory depends on. Mutations cause differences. Natural selection picks modifications that are helpful. This technique elucidates minor variations within species. It does not elucidate the source of novel, complex information. Mathematics shows where the limits are. Most mutations break code that is already there. Mutations that are good happen very seldom. It would take thousands of coordinated genetic modifications to make a new organ. The chance that such changes will happen at the same moment is almost zero. Think about a basic math problem. If a useful mutation happens once every million births and a new system needs 10 unique mutations, the chances go down to 1 in a million to the 10th power. That amount is more than the entire number of living things that have ever existed. Biological systems need a lot more than 10 adjustments to work. Random mutation doesn't have the creative power that people think it does. Selection can keep improvements, but it can't come up with them in the first place. Design biology acknowledges these constraints and ascribes invention to intelligence rather than serendipity. Awareness of oneself and consciousness. Material processes elucidate chemical reactions and electrical signals. They do not elucidate inward experience. Every person has ideas, feelings, free will, and awareness. We know we're here. We choose. We think about what is beautiful and what is right. There is no arrangement of atoms that logically results in consciousness. Brain activity is linked to thought, but correlation doesn't mean cause. A radio gets music but doesn't make it. The mind shows things that are more than just matter. It understands abstract ideas like love, truth, and justice. Biology design gives a clear answer. People are like a creator who has a mind and a personality. Consciousness emerges from a source, transcending mere chemicals. Materialism has a hard time explaining this important part of being human. The truth about moral law. Every culture knows what is right and what is wrong. People disagree about the details, but the sense of duty is the same for everyone. We don't like theft, murder, or betrayal. We value honesty and bravery. These moral instincts are like rules that are written on the heart. If people came about by chance, then morality is just a figment of our imaginations. There is no order in nature to be compassionate. Survival of the fittest would make brutality okay. Even the most devout atheist behaves as though moral principles are real. The existence of objective morality indicates a moral lawgiver. This information aligns well with design biology. A purposeful creator establishes a basis for ethics that materialism fails to offer. The order of nature and mathematics. Mathematics is one of the most mysterious things. Abstract equations depict physical reality with remarkable precision. There are rules that govern how planets move. Plants grow in ways that are based on numbers. Engineers utilize math to make bridges and satellites. Why should the universe follow rules that people made up? If nature came from chaos, it seems doubtful that there would be such harmony. The correlation between mathematics and physical entities indicates an underlying rational framework for both. A designing intelligence elucidates the comprehensibility of the world. Language and abstract thinking. Language is unique to humans. We use sounds and symbols to say anything we want. Grammar lets you be creative and exact. Kids learn complicated languages without any explicit teaching. Language needs people to think ahead and agree on rules. It can't change by making random noises. Words have meanings that people give them. The transition from animal communication to human language signifies a chasm broader than any physical characteristic. People can plan new things, write poetry, and think about the future. Because they can think abstractly, these powers transcend biology, indicating a spiritual dimension. Design biology sees language and reason as gifts from a creator who is logical. Thanks. Please follow, share, and leave a like.
All right, that's number two. Going to number three, video number three that I just made on design biology.
The Case for Design Biology, Where the Genetic Code Came From. Part 3. Putting the Threads Together. Adding these new regions to the earlier evidence makes the case for design much stronger. DNA has information that needs an author. An engineer is needed for machines that can't be broken down. A planner is needed for embryonic development. A tuner is needed to fine-tune the cosmos. Limits on mutation require a more intelligent source of new ideas. Consciousness necessitates a cognitive entity behind physical substance. Morality necessitates a legislator. Mathematics needs a logical arrangement. Language requires intelligence. Each piece of evidence on its own makes me very suspicious of unguided origins. Together, they make a strong wall. Design biology brings them together into a clear explanation. It fits with what we know from science, common sense, and our own experiences. Questions that need honest answers. To finish the argument, a few direct questions should be asked of any hypothesis that is materialistic. How could chemicals that don't live create a digital code with meaning and grammar? What step-by-step process could create a machine that can't be broken down and has no purpose? How did blind mechanisms determine the time of embryonic development? Why does the universe seem to be perfectly set up for life? Where is the proof in math that mutations can make new, more complicated organs? What physical process makes free will and consciousness possible? Why do people feel morally obligated if morality doesn't have an objective basis? Why does math work so well with nature? How did language and abstract thought come from things that don't have minds? These questions are at the center of the argument. Materialistic science provides narratives and conjectures. Design biology gives clear answers based on intellect and purpose. A last thought. Real science is based on facts. It is not afraid of conclusions that go against common beliefs. When investigators find a lot of fingerprints at a crime scene, they assume that a crime has been committed. When we look at nature and see traces of planning, we should assume that there was a planner. Design biology is not a religion that pretends to be science. It is a logical way of looking at facts. It respects the complexity of life instead of trying to explain it away. It brings back the sense of awe that comes with discovery. The more areas that are looked at, the clearer the conclusion gets. From the tiniest molecule to the biggest galaxy, life exhibits signs of intention. True science, honest science, and brave science see those markings and give credit where credit is due. The proof is in the pudding. The universe speaks. Biology has the mark of design. Please follow, like, share, and leave a comment.
All right. Thank you all for being here. I will upload that video in a minute. And I hope to see y'all. Thank Missy. You've been here for a while. I hope you enjoy it. Let me know. Please leave any questions, any comments. I will see you on the next upload. God bless.
In a world of colors, you're the brightest hue. A shade
Oop.
of love that I never knew. Esmeralda.